So this video is about how we use the sine rule for non-right angle triangles. So you'll notice at the top of my page I've actually got the sine rule written down, and I've drawn a picture of how we label a non-right angle triangle. Basically, as long as the angle and the side opposite to it are labelled with the same letter, then that's where we want it to work. Right? A, B's and C's, capital letters represent angles, lowercase letters represent side lengths. So I'm going to go through two examples, one of how we use the sine rule to find a missing side length, and then one of how we use the sine rule to find a missing angle. I'm going to start with this one over here. It's helpful if you label your triangle with A's, B's and C's. It's not really important for the sine rule, but it becomes very important for the cosine rule. So it's a good habit to get into. So for this one here, I'm going to label my sides capital A, capital B, little b. To use the sine rule, you need two opposite pairs of information. So notice there that I didn't actually have to use the label C anywhere. I don't have any information about this side, I don't have any information about this angle. So that's a good indication that it's a sine rule question, because we've got a pair of information that I've labelled B's, one of them is missing, that I've labelled A's, and a pair of information that I've labelled B's. So we're going to write our sine rule out. We only need two components of it. So there's our sine rule, and then we're going to fill in the information that we've been given in the question. So x over sine 105 equals 23 over sine 48. Now the best way to go forward from here is to actually cross multiply. So what I mean by that is we're going to multiply along the lines of that orange cross that I've just drawn in. So the x is going to multiply by sine 48, and the 23 is going to multiply by sine 105. And that's going to go on either side of our equals sign. So our next line would be x sine 48 equals 23 sine 105. Now it doesn't matter if you have written yours the other way around. It can be the 23 sine 105 can go on this side. Okay, so they can swap and it will still get you the correct answer. Now obviously our goal is to get the x here by itself. So to do that, we're going to take this sine 48 across the other side. Since we're multiplying by on this side, then across here we're going to divide. So we get x equals 23 sine 105 over sine 48. Now all of that can go into your calculator, just all in one step, and if you do it correctly, hopefully you'll come up with an answer that x is 29.9 centimetres. So that's how we would use the sine rule to find a missing side length. In the second example, we're going to use it to find a missing angle. Very, very similar. Same first step as before, we're going to label our triangle with A's, B's and C's if necessary. So, capital A down here, little a, it could be any letter you choose, it doesn't actually matter, this is just the way that I'm labelling mine, and we're going to call this B and little b. So then we can write our rule down. And fill in the information from the question. So, A was 47 over sine theta, because we don't know that angle, that's what we're trying to find. And then 63 over sine 52. Once again, we're going to cross multiply to solve this. So we're going to multiply along the lines of that orange cross that I've drawn in. Okay, I like to leave the unknown, or the thing we're solving for, on the left-hand side of the equation. Okay, it works for my brain, but it doesn't have to be that way for yours. So I'm going to write 63 sine theta equals 47 sine 52. Alright, once again we're trying to get theta by itself, So we need to move the 63 across the other side and divide by. Right, our last step then is we're going to take the sine across the other side, and of course if we're trying to find an angle, that means we need to use the inverse of sine. So sine, -1, and everything just goes in a big bracket. All of that can go in your calculator in one step. If you do it correctly, you should get an answer of 36 degrees. So that's how you use the sine rule to find a missing side length and a missing angle.